Hello, 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 everyone. This is Tammy Morrison, and I am live. So I'm here today, coming on today because I wanted to talk about the frequency of abundance. This is day 3 of 30 of my 30-day challenge. So this is my day 3 of a 30-day challenge, y'all. I'm going live. So or posting, because I'll upload some, I'll go live some, but y'all know I love to go live. And so today I want to talk about the frequency of abundance, because that is the frequency that I have found myself diving into. So I want to cover what Google says the frequency of abundance is. And Google says that, or Bing says that the frequency of abundance is a belief that there is plenty of good to go around and that you are worthy of receiving it. It is the confident expectation that abundance is coming your way. You can create a frequency of abundance by aligning your thoughts, words, and actions with your desired outcome. 888 hertz is a vibrational frequency that is believed to generate vibrations that align with the energy of attracting positive opportunities and outcomes. So listening to 888 hertz frequency is considered an invitation to embrace abundance and prosperity, encompassing both material wealth and spiritual enrichment. So that makes so much sense to me, and that is exactly the space that I have dove into. And so this is the place that I want to talk to you about, so that you can come and join me in this frequency of abundance. And so to me, what that started feeling like for me is doing things that abundant people do, embodying her. What will she wear? What does she do? What does she eat? How does she move? Embodying those things and actually stepping into that and inserting myself as her. So abundance is me as me. And so as I started looking into that, and I started really diving into studying some of the people that are abundant, studying people that know that they're abundant, studying people that are in the frequency of abundance, and y'all know one of them I'm going to talk about is Oprah. Oprah knows that she's in the frequency of abundance. And so for me, what that means, when I started really looking into what it means to me and for me, and y'all, I apologize, but I'm watching the game too. Y'all know that Alabama and UConn are playing. If you're in the States, it's March Madness, and it is down to the wire. So this is UConn and Alabama playing for the spot in the championship that's going to happen on Monday night. So for those of you that, love sports, I'm your girly. I love sports. I love basketball. I love football. So right now it's March Madness, and I'm kind of like, multitasking a little bit. So anyway, the frequency of abundance. And so the frequency of abundance looks like, I don't know about anybody else, but sometimes when I would get a bill that come in, even, and it, I don't want to leave. It says I was offline, but that makes no sense. Okay. All right. I don't know what that was about, but here I am. So, the frequency of abundance looks like when you start to feel like, stress, because there's that little tiny little thing, especially if you've been through something financially, and for me, I had to deal with a lot of things financially. A lot of things was, of my own making, and I admit any of that. I don't, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I don't believe, but I do know that, when you start to get into this frequency of abundance and you start putting yourself there, as the Nevada says, you sleep in the bed that you desire to be in. You take yourself to the space where you want to be. He said he was laying in his bed in New York City, but he was sleeping in his bed in Barbados where he wanted to be. And so it's that simple. It's using your imagination to create your reality. And for me, that is huge. And that's something that I definitely had to start putting myself in these spaces, because what it does is it helps to relieve the anxiety that you feel when you get bills. And a lot of us have been through, especially if you've been in spaces where you couldn't pay your bills. And a lot of times you'll remember that, even if it's been a long time. Like I have not had my light shut off in decades, but I still remember that. And so one of the things that it makes me do is it makes me make sure that my damn light bill is paid. Because the way it happened for me, it was my ex. He was supposed to go and pay the light bill, and he told me that he paid it, but he did not pay it. And so they shut my lights off. And of course, it was after hours, so I had to have no lights overnight. So I had to go and, I went and got a tub, which, like I said, I had the money to pay the light bill, but he didn't go pay it. And so I had a tub I think I went to Walmart, because Walmart was right down the street. And I got a big tub and some ice, and I put my food in that so it wouldn't spoil, because I had a bunch of food in the refrigerator. And it was in the South. And I can't remember if it was, I think it was more, not quite deep summer, but like right after the summer, like fall. So it was still kind of warm, so yeah. So anyway, but you see how I described that, because that was something that bothered me for a long time. I mean, I honestly really just got through that type of thing and actually healed from that just really in the last few years, because that was something that just bothered me, because I just was not interested in not having lights. You need lights in your house. And plus, I have my kids then, and so anyway, so but even though that has not ever happened again, and I decided that would never in my life happen again. I didn't care what I had to do. And at that time, what I had to do was I had to work a lot. I worked a lot to ensure that I never had those problems again. Because at that moment, what that taught me was that I couldn't trust anyone. That at that moment, that taught me that. And so going into the frequency of abundance is another reason why, I say that as you step into the frequency of abundance, then you also go to the space where you begin to heal from some of these traumas in the past that are keeping you from stepping into these frequencies. That makes sense. It's like, one second, let me get some tea. It's like when you begin to really start to move in areas where you needed to heal and you needed something to shift and all that kind of stuff, then you begin to get into these frequencies. And so when you do that, then you leave all of those things behind that happened to you before, so that you can see something different. Because what happens is every time you look up, you see that same thing. You see the fact that, somebody beat your ass when you was younger. You were in a relationship that was abusive. You open your eyes and you see that. Or you were in a narcissistic relationship and you weren't used to anybody caring for you. And so that was a situation that I was in as well. I was in a narcissistic relationship, and honestly, I think that man loved me on a level, but I really think that he didn't care about me. And so when you get out of that, you still have this blinder on, and you think that nobody cares about you, and you think that nobody can care about you. But that's simply not true. And so when you start to move from that frequency and you start moving to this frequency where everything around you is what you need and what you want and what you desire, where you have it all and you're not concerned about it, When the light bill comes in the mail, it's just another bill, and you know it's going to get paid, so you're not worried about it. When it's time to pay the rent, you're not struggling, you're not having anxiety and panic attacks and all kinds of things, because the rent is time to pay the rent, because you know that you're going to have the money to pay the rent. And people use this example all the time, and I'm going to use it as well. But I think about the fact that when I order something from Amazon, or when I order it from Costco, or whoever I order it from, when I order it, I put the order in, and then I wait for it. So I don't go, back and forth to Amazon checking every day, because they gave me a date that it was going to be delivered. Okay. So if I ordered it yesterday and it's going to be delivered in 2 days, then I know that in 2 days it's going to be delivered. And if it's not delivered in 2 days, they're going to tell me that it was delayed, or, was stuck in the processing, or whatever it is. They're going to tell you that it's not coming. Okay. And so this type of frequency works the same way. You know that everything that you need, want, and desire is here for you when you step into that frequency of abundance. And that's in every level. So like if you are looking for a mentor, you're looking for spiritual help, you're looking for some emotional help, some mental help, all of those things are there for you. Somebody will show up with just what you need. If you need to talk to somebody, you need a counselor, or a therapist, or you need to see somebody about a situation. These things will begin to show up in your awareness if you know that you are in the frequency of abundance, because you know that everything that you want, need, or desire is there for you, and it's working out. And so for me, when I began to really understand that, because that takes a minute to deconstruct, really. And really that's what we're doing, is we're deconstructing that. But it takes a minute to deconstruct it. Because for me, and it's been like back and forth, because I really didn't understand it. And it's like I finally, for some reason, I finally was able to understand, and I was able to grab a hold of it. And I actually was talking to some friends the other day, and I was like, I didn't used to understand Dr. Joe Dispenza at all. I honestly did not understand that man. I was like, he's so far over my head. I don't know what he's talking about. Same thing with Dr. Bruce Lipton. I was like, oh my God. And there's another one. Can't think of what his name is right now, but he's another one that was like so far over my head. The Conversations with God guy was like, okay. But then one day, as I was doing this work and I was beginning to shift and really talking to myself and telling myself beautiful things, and that is also a part of stepping into that frequency of abundance, because you begin to tell yourself beautiful things. You begin to talk to yourself and speak amazing words to yourself. You begin to pay attention to what you're saying to yourself. Because a lot of times we don't even understand how the things that we say to ourselves about ourselves is traumatizing us. Because I hear people do that all the time. They say, they hit themselves up the head and say, stupid. And I say, don't do that. Don't do that. I said, love yourself. I said, we grew up, being hit. A lot of us grew up being hit because that is what our parents knew, and that's what their parents knew, and that's what their parents knew. And then for us, for my, particular culture, we grew up knowing how to be beat, because, that's what was passed down from all these different generations. And this is what is in our DNA. 7 generations back, at least, is one thing that I heard. And then I heard it could actually be more than that. So think about it, 7 generations back of trauma. That takes me back to slavery. So I know there was a lot of trauma, to the Middle Passage, to people coming, over here from other places, some voluntarily and some not. So I think about that. It's like that is all trapped in your nervous system and in your DNA, all of that. And these are some of the things that we are working through. And this is something that I work through with my clients. So if you're interested in the work that I do, I would love to take you through that. I have sessions that I do, one-to-one sessions. I do them on Zoom, unless you're in the Seattle, Washington area, where you can come and visit me at Vision Quest, and we can do a session in person there. But other than that, I do them on Zoom, and you'll get your copy. But yeah, so when you really start to move and get yourself in this space, in this frequency of abundance, and you start really stepping into that space and just really understanding who you are at that level, and really transmuting all the trauma and stuff, and I say all because you know what, I believe that, but transmuting that trauma that you were dealing with, maybe that light bill that didn't get paid and your lights got shut off, or maybe you were evicted at one time, or maybe you were homeless at one time, and not because you wanted to. Maybe some of these things were going on with you and were happening with you, and only thing you could think of is, I don't even know what to do, I don't even know how to be. And so at that point, it was difficult and hard for you to even do any of this work. However, you pressed forward and you maintained, and you began to really, move the needle in how you see things and your perspective, and that began to shift things for you. Because honestly, that is really what happens, is when we begin to shift our perspective, then things begin to shift in our life, because you shift how you look at things, you shift how you talk about things, you shift how you relate to things, you would shift how you talk to yourself. And so when you begin to do that and you begin to shift these things, oh my God, right? And then you step into the law of expectation, where you just begin to expect everything to work out for you. You just begin to expect abundance to be here for you. You just begin to expect that you don't feel crazy, and you don't feel, some kind of way about anything. You just begin to expect that if you desire it and if you want it, then it's going to show up. If it's whatever it is. If you are looking for stability of mind, because sometimes, we're not stable in our mind. But if you are looking for stability of mind, it's going to show up. It has no choice. It has no choice. Okay. It has no choice. It's got to show up. And so that is really the space that you get into when you embrace the frequency of abundance. Y'all, I'm telling you, yeah. Here's a commercial about some new comedy thing that's happening. But anyway, squirrel. So yeah. So anyway, so that's all I have for you today. And I hope that you follow me on TikTok at Intuitive Tammy, because I have some series over there for helping you to open up your spiritual gifts. I have also a series on how to meditate, because I recognize that so many people are not participating and taking part in something that could change your life. And meditation is that thing. Meditation can change your life. So I noticed that a lot of people were talking to me about, they don't know how to meditate and all this stuff. And so I created a series over there on TikTok, and it's $4.99. Less than a cup of Starbucks. So you can grab that series, and it's short little videos that help you and support you on your journey to learn how to meditate, and also to open up your spiritual gifts. And if that's something that you are looking for as well, then I would invite you to come and join me. Come and join me. And if you are looking to step into your frequency of abundance, then I have actually created a session just for that. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to do it as a group thing. So I'll offer it as a group thing where we come together and we work on your frequency of abundance, helping you to create that for yourself. So again, be be following me. Make sure that you have hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so that you get notified. Um, so you get notified when I offer new content. So again, thank you so much for joining me. And if you are a spiritual entrepreneur and you would like to come on my show, Straight Out of Savannah, and talk about it, I have interviewed mediums, psychics, numerologists, astrologists, human design people. Um, Trying to think, is anybody else? Channelers, all kinds of people. So if you would like to come on and let's have a conversation, I love to geek out because those are my people. So again, thank y'all for hanging out with me, and I truly do appreciate you. And I would love it if you would like, share, and subscribe, and watch some of those related videos that they're going to pop up here for you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.